Hi everyone, and thanks for joining me. My name is Maria and I'm the owner of Deck the Halls DIY Studio. We have 2 locations in New Richmond and in Stanley. If you're joining us today for this tutorial, chances are you ordered one of our framed sign kits. So the sign that I'm showing you right now is our Believe, and we have a few other options. So this Believe one I did make on a live, so if you go back to our Facebook page, you will see me creating this one, and I will briefly go through how to create this sign. This is the piece that I'll talk about in a minute. You also had the choice to do Let It Snow. I'm going to do all of the tutorials in one for these frame sign options. Joy to the World, and then the Manger Scene. Okay, so you have one of these 4 options, and it came as a kit from us. So if you got the kit, you will have the frame sign, as you see here, with raw edges, meaning you're going to paint those edges. It will be taped off for you. Now you do have a pre-painted white background. You can choose to paint it another color. Today I'm not going to, but you could paint your background a different color. After you paint your frame, you could take the tape and put it along the inside so that you can paint where it is white now, you could paint another color. In your kit is also the paint colors that you predetermined through registration, and we do include glue, and then we do include sponges. Little white makeup sponges is what we use. Now you'll probably see some paint on my sponges because I reuse them. So just a little tip, you can trim them off after you're done with a color, and you can reuse them for another color if you'd like. So I believe that's everything for the kit. I will briefly walk through how you're going to start painting these. So when you paint the frame, we'll do that one last, but I'll talk about these pieces. So Joy to the World, Let It Snow, and the Manger Scene. The Manger Scene are all going to be painted the same way. They are one piece that you will paint to your liking, and then you will set inside the frame and do some spot gluing. Okay, so when I'm painting, today I'm going to paint the Let It Snow. When I'm painting the Let It Snow, you can just paint your Joy to the World or your Manger Scene in the same fashion. For the Believe sign, that one will come all taped as one piece, and this Believe will be right on, these letters will be right inside of here. You'll notice that I predetermined what colors I was going to paint each spot. Okay, so these are my little notes to myself that this is what I was going to paint. So when you receive this, you will take the tape off this top layer and you'll put your tape on the back. Okay, and then you will paint. So you'll take your sponge, and I will show you this technique when we start painting ours. But you're going to take your sponge and you're going to dab, just like you see I did with each of my colors that I chose. You'll dab them. And then once this is dry, we'll talk about how to apply it. But you will be using this. It fits right into this plaid. And so it's going to be your guide so that all of your letters align the way you would like them. Okay, so we will talk more about that in a little bit, but I wanted to show you how to paint your Believe because we will get started with our Let It Snow here, and I didn't want to forget that. So if you want to paint your frame, okay, or if you want to leave it natural, that's cool too. You can take one of your white sponges and just put a little bit of paint on. So I'm gonna do a navy blue, so I'll just put a little bit of paint on and do just a little bit of paint until you get the feel for how thick you really want it. The lighter the paint, the more you will see the grain in the wood. In the studio, we use a lot of baby wipes. So when I did this live on Facebook, I did use a baby wipe. if you have any handy and you like that more of a stained look, you could certainly do that. So I just put paint right on my baby wipe and I'm just kind of smoothing it out. I tell the kids when they come into workshops that it's kind of like you're washing off the counter. You're just moving it back and forth. This dries really quickly as well. You can also get a similar look using the white sponge by putting very little paint on the sponge. Okay, and I can show you that too. So we have the baby wipe is up on this top and on the side. And then I'll just put very, very little paint on. And then I will just rub that along the side. I'll push this up so you can see better. Okay, so there's two different looks. Now, if you want your frame more solid instead of the wood grain showing through or instead of the frame look, I would do a light coat of paint and then come back and do a second coat. You will want to make sure that you get inside your frame, so that part is also painted. And then that's why the tape is there. So you don't get paint on your white, you'll just get paint on your frame. If a little corner is showing, be careful in that corner. We tried our best to get the corners really well, but if you're doing a sign like the Let It Snow or the manger or the plaid, it's going to cover it up because it sits snug in a frame. Okay, so take time to stain or paint stain or paint your frame, and then we'll come back for the next step. Okay, once you've painted your frame, remember, just paint it to your liking. So more paint if you don't want to see the wood grain. I wanted to see the wood grain, so I left mine a little bit lighter. When you are done with that, you can peel up your painter's tape, or you can leave it until it is dry. But I'm just going to peel it up because then I have that step done. And I'm going to set this aside. Then you'll pick up your cutout. So whichever cutout or overlay you chose to create. Remember, we have the Let It Snow, Believe, the Manger, and Joy to the World. You will grab that, and then we're going to talk about how to paint. So for this, I'm going to do my border in red, my words in red, and then I'm going to do my snowflakes different blues. So you'll have some small sponges. You'll just add a little bit of paint. So put paint on and then dab some paint off just so you don't have a puddle of paint on there. And then you will just simply dab where you would like that paint color. Okay, and when I dab, it's kind of just like the motion, okay? And you don't want a lot of paint because it will run over the edges. Now, something fun about these is that they're made on a laser, so they have burnt edges. So you do not have to worry about painting the edges unless, of course, you'd want them painted, okay? So if you want them painted, then go for it. If you don't, just simply dabbing your paint color where you would like it is all you'll need to do for this project. Okay, so take your paint colors. Remember, a different sponge for every color. And I always put some paint on and take some paint off. And then I will just dab on my snowflakes. So remember, let it dry and then add more paint. A second coat would be okay. A third coat is okay. Have the coverage that you like and that you're looking for before you're done painting. But let the coats dry in between. And the less paint you use, the quicker it will dry. So if you like to keep painting like I do, I like to use light coats so I can just keep painting without worrying about piling wet paint on top of wet paint. Okay, so finish painting your projects. Just a reminder for the Believe sign, you're painting it with it attached to this. So your letters are attached to this cutout. You might have identified what colors you were painting where, and then you're just going to paint it on here. You're not taking the letters out. You're painting them on here because there is tape on the back that's holding it all together. The same for your plaid. Your plaid is laid down and you will just dab on your plaid, okay? Because they're two separate pieces. You shouldn't have paint touching it too much, because if you want, just take this one out and set it here, take your plaid and set it here, and then be able to dab the paint where you need it. Okay, we'll come back with our finishing step. Okay, let's dive into our final step of this project. So I've painted my Let It Snow. Here's my overlay. Now remember, be very careful with these. They are a little bit fragile. And you will just insert it into your frame. Okay, and it will fit snug. So I don't worry about putting too much glue on it. Okay, so you're going to fit it in. And then you will take your glue, which is included in your kit, and I would just pick up little pieces, little spots, and just put a little bit of glue on the back of those spots. And it will move with you. So just get little dabs of glue on your letters, and then I would just hold it down so that you know it sets. Okay, and then again, put it wherever you feel you need some glue, but they will fit snug in. And then you won't need too much glue because it is a nice super glue. So you can hold it while it sets, or you could put something on it. Let's talk about this Believe sign while the other one is sitting. So I would put down your plaid first. Put your plaid in, put a couple spots of glue in, drop your plaid in. Then you'll take this piece right here, and you will take your painter's tape from before, and you will put tape over the front, okay? So you're going to take your painter's tape that you had before, and these letters are dry now, and you're gonna put painter's tape over the front, and this is going to hold all of your pieces. All of these letters need to be held into this board. Then you will flip over the board, and you will take your glue, and you will run it along the letters. So not the inside of the letters, but just the letters. So the hat, the snowflake, the letters itself, the antlers, the nose, every single line for the leg, okay? And then you will take this, you will flip it over, you will set it inside the plaid opening where it's supposed to go in the plaid. You'll apply some pressure, okay, because you want that glue to start setting. You will carefully peel up these pieces of tape. Now, when I did this, a couple of my sock pieces pulled up. I just pushed them right back down, okay? And so you'll pull these up, and you don't want anything to come up with you except for these inside pieces. You want those to come up. If they don't come up, you can pick them out. You can pick them out later. But that's why when you apply the glue, that you want to be very aware of where the glue is going, because you only want it on the letters. And then you will take and you will start to peel up the wood. Okay, you'll peel up this board, and the letters should stay down. If the letters start to pick up, just as you peel, because it's very flexible. As you peel, just push it down. Push them back down, push them back down, push them back down. This dot, I let come up with me because it really goes down here on the foot. Okay, so I brought that dot with me, and I put it here. But you'll just push them down, push them down, push them down, so that this peels up, and then when this comes up, you can apply pressure again with your hands just to get that piece to set. Okay, and then I would give it a little bit of time before you hang it on the wall or put it leaning up against anything before you do that, so that the glue really sets and holds your pieces in place. So this is super awesome, you guys. Share with us on our Facebook page and on Instagram your creations, because I am sure you will use different colors and you will create different frame colors. I'm super excited to see what you have. So again, it's for the Let It Snow. There's the Believe, and then I have not painted the Joy to the World yet, but I'm excited to see what you come up with. And there's the manger scene. So I forgot to mention before, but if you wanted to paint your background, you could certainly do that. Okay, that would really change these as well. So thanks for joining Deck the Halls DIY Studio. Be sure to share your projects with us. We'd love to see them on social media, on Facebook, and on Instagram.